Let's make an old classic. This is a cross between a Bavarian slice and a custard slice, and they're so easy to make and they taste amazing. Perfect to sit out in the garden on an evening in the summer. Come on then, let's get into it. Okay, so I've got some of these packet mixes. They're just cheap instant custards from Asda, and it says to mix it with 400 ml of boiling water, but I'm going to use less than that so it's a bit thicker. We don't want a runny custard, we want like quite a thick one. So I'm going to start with 200 ml. I'm going to mix a packet and a half into it. So that's ended up the perfect consistency, nice and thick, but we need more than this, so I'm just going to do the exact same thing again, so we've got double the amount. Excuse the flour on my face, I'm baking. Right, so we are here. Don't forget, as it cools it thickens as well, so I've just made it a tiny bit on the runny side, but not too much. It's just, it'll still hold its shape, but it will still pour out if you poured it. And there is 3 packets of the custard mix and 500 ml of water. This is just going to be set aside now to fully cool. Now our custard is cool, it is set, we're going to get on with the cream. So I'm using 500 ml of double cream. I'm going in with 300 grams of icing sugar and a good teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. You can use vanilla extract. And then I'm just going to mix this through so we don't get a cloud of sugar. And now I'm going to whip this until our cream forms stiff peaks. And now we've got a lovely thick whipped cream. I'm going to go in with the custard and I'm going to add it. And now I'm going to give it one last whisk until it's all combined. And then you should be left with this absolutely stunning, thick, very thick, custardy, creamy, vanilla-y mixture. And it should pretty much hold itself, so if you scrape around, it should stay where you're putting it. Now onto our pastry. So all I've done is I've taken 3 ready rolled pastries, puff pastries. I've unrolled them and pricked a load of holes in the top with a fork and just stuck them in the oven. I've done 3 of them and just left them whole. Just put them in the oven as is with a load of holes in the top and bake them until they're nice and golden. So I've laid one down, spread jam over the top and put one on the other, pressed it down. So we've got a nice jam sandwich pastry thing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on with this cream mixture, custard cream. Now I'm just going to spread it out into a nice thick layer across the whole thing. When your cream's nice and even, we're going to go on with our top layer of pastry. Press down ever so slightly, not too hard. And now we've got our base for our vanilla slices. I'm going to mix up some icing, so I've got 200 grams of icing sugar in this bowl. I'm going to mix it with a teaspoon of water until it's a nice thick icing. I'm not sure if I've done enough, I'm just winging it, but we'll see. See, we've got a nice thick icing now. And this is what we're currently looking like. We've just got the thinnest layer of icing over the top, and this is just to coat it so that when we put the proper layer of icing on, it's not going to get crumbs all in it. This is like a crumb coat, so it's very, very thin, basically see-through, and it's just going to hold everything together. I'm going to get this in the fridge to set, and once the icing's set, we'll get the next layer on. Right, it is all set. I'm going to make the second load of icing. I'm going to use around 300 to 400 grams of icing sugar now, just to make sure we've got enough to cover everything. I'm just going to mix this with some water. Yeah, so I'm just going to drizzle the icing over the top and spread it out really gently. And then once it's all on and nice and flat, I'm just going to take the remaining and add a tiny bit of cocoa powder and a little bit more water. And now we've got a lovely chocolate icing. I'm just going to drizzle it along the top. Then with a cocktail stick, I'm just going to run it down. Up and down. I'll give you a close-up, and it's going to go in the fridge to set for at least 4 hours, probably closer to 6, but the longer you can leave it, the better. And this is what we are looking like. There is the cream. Don't worry about the edges because we will be trimming them. There's the jam coming out there. So as you can see, we've got 2 layers. We've got a layer of pastry, a layer of jam, a layer of pastry, and then a thick layer of cream and the pastry on top, and then the icing with the chocolate decoration. And that is all done until it is set. Right, it's been in the fridge for around 6 hours, maybe even 8, I'm not sure, I've lost count. But it's time to cut it now. It should be all set. So I'm going to start with the edges. I'm just going to neaten them up and cut off around 1 centimetre off each edge. I'm not putting pressure on, I'm using a very sharp knife. And I'm just sawing at it rather than putting pressure on it. And it should just slide through. I've switched to a serrated blade, it's much better. I don't know why I didn't do that at first. But in between each side, I'm just going to wipe my blade off and repeat until all 4 sides are nice and even. Now we've got a nice even rectangle. We're going to cut them into sizes we want. You can do them into strips, you can do them into squares. Personally, I'm going to do them into squares because I've got square containers to put them in. But you can do this however you want. I'm going to go 3 this way. I'm just making marks where I want the slices to be by pressing the knife into the icing. And now I'm just going to cut. Just remember to keep wiping your knife between cuts to keep everything nice and clean. And here we have it. Look at that. How stunning is that? You've got the jam in there, you've got the chocolate and the icing, lovely thick layer of cream. Absolutely cannot go wrong with that, like. And you don't have to cut them like this. Like I say, you can cut them smaller. I just prefer a nice big one. Decorate the plate a little bit and you've got a lovely little dinner party dessert as well. You can go thicker on the filling if you want, or you can go thin. It's entirely up to you. Make it your own. But I can guarantee you'll love these. I'll give you a close-up. Can you see the vanilla bean swirled through? How gorgeous. You've got the jam in the bottom. Yeah, it is literally as easy as that. Go and make some and enjoy them.